welcome to another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon. Guys, I'm a retired New York City police detective with 20 plus years of law enforcement. And if you like all things true crime related from a police perspective, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll get all things DutyRon. And when we got him, Ed Wallace, today we're going to speak about the Cassie Carli case. This is a new case from Florida, and I was contacted by numerous people, including Nicole Schmidt and the Petito family. They wanted as many people to talk about this, and I watched HeyJb yesterday. A very, very familiar case. Custody drop-off or exchange in Navarro Beach, Florida on Sunday, the 27th. And we haven't heard or seen anything from this 37-year-old mother. It is a tragic case that sounds very, very familiar. But before we get into it, let me just say a special thank you to the Patreon supporters, the channel members, and all the folks who positively engage in Crime Time with DutyRon community. For those of you who leave positive comments, encouragement, supporting the crime victims and their families, I want to say thank you to you. Last night's live stream with Rocky was just unbelievable in the Naomi Arion case. A heartfelt, I mean, I left that live stream last night feeling so good and so emotional. I don't know about you guys, but if you let me know in the chat who saw the live stream last night, let me know. Matty Boy Sully is here. Donna, Robert, North Florida, Gary, I hope you're feeling better, brother. Hello, Alicia B. Great to see everybody joining. Yeah, it's just familiar. I mean, I hope and pray she's found alive and that she ran away or something like that. But as we're going to hear from the WFLA report yesterday, he went live, HeyJb, and listen, HeyJb put out a call to all the content creators and all the folks on social media to share, to help. He put out a call to share, to help. And this is something that was clear and evident to me, is that HeyJb, JB Benuno from WFLA puts this share to help call out to people. And hey, I saw it. I was at work. I said to myself, I got to put something together. And here we are today. Joining me. Oh, wow. Look at that. Ed Wallace. Hey, brother Ed. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, Ron. Hey, folks.
Hey, I gave you very little notice. Let me just take this off the screen quickly because we're going to play that little piece. This is the kind of guy Ed Wallace is. I sent him a message. I said, don't feel obligated to come. I gave you 2 minutes notice. And look, he's geared up. He's ready to go. Ed, what do you think? Did you have a chance to look at this case?
Yes, I looked at it yesterday. I've been reading the articles on it and so forth. So it's an interesting case. Yeah. And I think what everybody's pointing their fingers now at the ex-husband.
Yeah. So we're going to see. It was a custody handoff. Again, I have very limited details, but the FBI, the state, and local authorities are looking at it. We have multi-state. We're talking about Alabama. We're talking about Navarro Beach in Florida, and a 4-year-old girl who, the daughter, there's an ex-husband. It was supposed to be a custody swap meet, and we're going to hear from her sister and her brother. They were a little shaken on this video, but you're going to hear from them, and they're going to tell us that she said to them in the past, if something ever, God forbid, happens to me, he's responsible. Yeah. That's enough for me right there. To my red flags are just all over the place. So let's play this little clip, Ed. Do you have time? Or
Yeah, I got plenty of time.
Okay, let's play this clip so everybody can get a good idea outside the country. And if you haven't shared it yet, please share it out onto your social media platform. So here it is. Let me know if the volume is good in the chat.
And we will not stop until we bring her home.
The FBI, state investigators, multiple local agencies working around the clock to find missing Florida mother Cassie Carli, who mysteriously vanished while picking up her daughter on the Florida Panhandle. Now, we're going to be speaking to the community search group, friends, family members about to join us here live on WFLA Now, because what we're doing here, we are asking you folks at home, wherever you're watching from, share to help. There's an urgent search underway to find the woman, 37 years old, who went out on Sunday night to pick up her daughter from her ex in Navarro Beach on the Florida Panhandle, when that was the last time anybody saw her. her father reported her missing. In fact, let's just quickly recap this story for those of you who might be finding out about it for the first time. JB Buno here with you live on WFLA Now. Let's go to the timeline, and so we can show this to our audience here. On Sunday, Cassie last seen by her daughter's father, her 4-year-old daughter, who is safe, but we're going to talk more about her 4-year-old daughter here in just a moment. On Monday, Cassie's father reports her missing. On Tuesday, Cassie's vehicle is found, but troubling to the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office, again, in the Florida Panhandle, they find and locate her purse inside that vehicle. Also pointing out here as well, on Wednesday, according to investigators, the daughter and the father were found in Alabama. Now,
hey, I got to stop it right there because, Ed, I know you can hear and we're not on the screen, but isn't that troubling? On Wednesday, the 4-year-old daughter is found with the father in Alabama, and he is still not brought in. They question him on location. I don't, my investigative mind is boggled right now, and I'm going to put me and you back up on the screen. This turn of events right here from Sunday to Wednesday, and to not have this guy either brought in for questioning, and they say that the daughter, the 4-year-old, was questioned by child welfare. And I don't say questioned, but probably talked to by the authorities. Do you find it odd and a little off-putting that some of these questions, like, hey, you were supposed to do a custody exchange. Why is your daughter with you back in Alabama?
Yeah, why are you here in Alabama now when you were supposed to exchange in the parking lot of in Florida the daughter's custody over to the mother? It makes no sense to me that he hasn't been hauled in and questioned in custody, actually, where his rights were given to him. And apparently they just did this. They find him with the daughter, which he's not supposed to have the daughter at this point in time.
Right.
So, I mean, at a minimum, this seems to me that this could have been a charge of abduction or kidnapping of the daughter, since he was supposed to have relinquished control of the daughter to the mother just days earlier.
Right. Yeah, and that's the troubling part. So Thursday, it says the FBI state announced in the search. So multi-agency search launched for the missing mom. Her handbag, which we know from being married 31 plus years, or each of us, up in those high numbers, our wives and the ladies don't like to go anywhere without their bag or purse or satchel or whatever they're carrying, and she left it behind. So let's let this play because we have limited time. I only got about an hour here, so I want to play the rest of this so folks can hear. We're going to hear from Cassie Carli's sister, brother, and 2 of her high school friends, really good friends. They are emotional, and they're out in a remote area along the beach. So it's not great audio, but let's listen to it.
Expanding that search into Alabama are local and state and federal authorities. And on Thursday, the press conference that we carried here live on WFLA Now, the FBI and the state announced to be part of the search efforts. Joining us here now live is the family of Cassie Carli. Now, they have been searching far and wide, looking everywhere that they can for Cassie, but they're taking some time out of their day to join us here on WFLA Now. Guys, I'll let you introduce yourself to our audience, but thanks for taking the time. And again, we're asking folks to share, to help, because she's still out there and folks are still, of course, doing everything they can to find her. Can you speak for a moment as to who Cassie is to you after, of course, you all introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Cassie's sister, Rayanne. This is her brother.
My brother, Anthony.
I'm Kirsty Sullivan. I went to high school with Cassie and have been good friends for decades.
And Cassie's best friend of 25 years.
And can you put into words, each one of you, can you put into words what Cassie means to you and the person that she is?
Cassie is just full of life. She is so happy. Anyone that's been around her can just feel her energy is always just full of love and light. And she has touched so many people, not just in our family. I mean, she was the glue in our family that held us together, but in the community. She loved her city of Navarre. She loved the beach. Oh, she loved the outdoors. Taking her daughter to the beach was the highlight of her day. She would go daily if she could. She just so full and excited and hopeful for the future.
A very strong person.
So strong.
Cassie and I went to high school together, and I've seen so many people from high school come out in the last 5 days. It's fueling our fire. Like, we're not stopping until we have Cassie and Sailor home. And I have yet to meet a single person with a bad thing to say about her.
Yes.
I can't think of anybody that doesn't like Cassie or wouldn't want to hang out with Cassie, because she is always cutting up and laughing. Like, when I think of Cassie, the first word that comes to my mind is like joy.
And you can tell with the community rallying behind you and your family and Cassie's family and friends, just the rallying that has gone on. It speaks to how much she is loved in this community. I've been on the phone really around the clock for the last 24 hours, texting, calling, and the amount of love that has been coming through. It's just, we can hear it in your voice.
How is the volume, folks? Is everybody hearing it good? Ed, you got it good? Volume?
Yeah, got
Can
it.
you
Okay, great.
tell us what it was like when you first found out that Cassie could not be located? Now, again, for the audience just joining us, she on Sunday night around 7 o'clock, she goes across the causeway in Navarre Beach to pick up her daughter. This was relatively normal, right, you guys? I mean, relatively normal to pick up her daughter on a Sunday night because her daughter was in her father's custody on the weekends. Do I have this correct? And then something went wrong. Can you kind of walk us through exactly what transpired?
It was every other weekend, and it was actually supposed to happen in Destin. It wasn't normal for her to be meeting him there. Sometimes, rare, maybe once or twice a year, she had met him in Navarre recently, because we understand that there's a family that would babysit often for Marcus when he had his daughter 2 days out of 14.
And for those of you, Marcus who was named yesterday in the press conference by the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office. Marcus is the 4-year-old daughter of Cassie's father, who is in Birmingham, Alabama. But we'll get into that here in just a few moments. There's a lot to this story. And so what was it like when did you find out, all of you, when did you find out that Cassie had disappeared, and what was that like, and where did your mind go when you originally heard the news that she was missing?
Our father, since she resides with him, he was the first immediate red flag when he 3 hours later and she still was not home, and he contacted me the next morning, still just so worrisome. And of course I reached out to her friends. She is always in contact with her family and friends. Even during the exchange, she would have texted. So we immediately, our red flag was Marcus, because she has always had some concern for her safety in general. But we know Cassie would have reached out to us if something was not looking right or suspicious.
Yeah, it's not like it at all. It's not like it.
Mm-mm.
So I
We
want
know beyond a shadow of a doubt she would not have left anywhere with Marcus, being in Navarre, her hometown where she grew up, and she could have called hundreds of people within a mile's radius to come and get her. Yes.
and this is
Her
what
daughter.
has been concerning, is because now we heard yesterday out of the mouth of the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office about her purse being located. But what do we know about her phone? Because normally somebody goes missing, the first thing you do is you call them, you text them. Do you have any idea where
We're
her
not
phone
sure
is?
what has happened with her phone. We know that it wasn't in the purse. We know that, we've all been calling and texting it since we realized what was started happening Monday evening. And it's gone straight to voicemail. Her text messages went from blue to green, which if you know Apple phones, you know that means something changed that shouldn't have changed. We're really confident in the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Department. We feel like they're working really hard, and they're protecting whatever information that they may have, because it's in the best interest of finding Cassie right away and prosecuting whoever's responsible for this disappearance.
I have a lot of questions to ask in the next few minutes, because I know you guys have to go resume search efforts. You have places to be, and you're taking time out of your day to join us. And again, the reason that the family is here, folks, and friends of Cassie is here, is for a very specific reason: to get the share count up on social media and to increase exposure. Again, looking for the missing mother out of Navarre Beach, 37-year-old Cassie Carli. I want to hone in on the phone for just another second.
Just so you heard it, JB right there said they're here. They want the share count up. They want more eyes on this. So if anybody saw something, they say something.
Because Cassie's father received text messages from Cassie's phone. I think it was at some point that night, and that was, I think that was a bit alarming to the entire family. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you've told me that was alarming to the entire family, correct?
This is Brian Laundrie sound alike when he took Gabby's phone and sent the message about Fred, the grandfather.
Yes. Yeah. That the text messages my father received from my sister's phone were nothing of typical speak my sister would have said. Especially the claims of car and phone troubles at the same time. She would have walked to the nearest gas station if she had to before getting Marcus for any type of help in a situation like that.
Something else I've looked at with these text messages recently is if you look at the way the punctuation is and the verbiage, he slips up, I believe, in some of these text messages and leaves out words like he typically does in his own text messages. It sounds like him.
And I want to just backtrack for our audience, because I know you guys have been talking about this so much, but what you are saying is that you do not believe that the text messages about the car being broken down, those text messages that went from Cassie's phone to the phone of her father, were not sent by Cassie, and
We do not believe that those messages were sent by Cassie.
And who do you believe sent them?
Marcus.
Marcus.
She's been
The last
telling
person
me,
to see her alive.
she's been telling me for the last 2 years that this dude has been threatening her. He's pulled a gun out. She's worried. She's never wanted me to come around. And she's always said, if something happens to me, it's him.
That's powerful, Ed. I'm going to bring us back on. You're hearing it from the family, and the family has direct contact, obviously with this missing person. This is his sister. You see how emotional her brother gets here, and his sister is talking in his ear, but he's trying to get out that really strong message that she told me if something was to happen to her, it was him. This guy needs to be hauled in and put in the box and sat down and answer questions. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see him lawyer up. Ed, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. But it seems to me that there should have been at least one charge they could hold him on, because as they said, he only had court-ordered visitation rights every other weekend.
Yeah.
So he's out of state with his child on a weekday when he's found with her. It seems like he violated the court order. At a minimum, they could have held him on this.
Yeah.
And use that as as we call it, a card holder, a place card holder.
Yeah.
And then dig it deeper into the investigation. Get the electronics going, ping phone movements between her phone and his phone. Was he even in Florida? Okay.
Yeah. So many unanswered questions, Ed.
Yeah. There seems like there's a lot that can be done. Also, there's so many cameras around now these days, traffic cameras, ATM cameras, security cameras at gas stations, so forth and so on, that, I guess the investigation has to run its course, but they would pull these cameras to see if their vehicles went into this beach parking lot, and see if he was even there or who came, and any movements and so forth.
Right.
Again, going back to pinging the phones, triangulating, locating where the phones and any movements associated with the phones, her phone, his phone, so forth and so on.
Yeah. So he resides in Birmingham, Alabama. But Cat Lover says went across state lines. That's federal. The U.S. Marshals, if he is now wanted for a crime, if there's upgraded charges, the feds. That's why the feds are involved. You got state, you got local. Again, once there is a crime levied against him and he moved across state lines, yes, the U.S. Marshals, we know that. Me and Ed, we work with them. I worked with them in fugitive enforcement. Ed's son, who just got promoted to detective. Congratulations, by the way, Ed.
Thank you, Ron.
His son was just promoted yesterday. A proud day for the Wallace family. So much, sending much strength to his son for a successful career and safety, first and foremost.
Greatest detectives in the world.
Yeah, the greatest detectives in the world, the NYPD. Thank you. So let's let the rest of this play. They're about to wrap it up, and then I want you to hear the sheriff's press conference.
And
Cassie wouldn't leave her daughter. The minute I knew that she didn't have her purse, her phone, her car, or her child, we knew. We know. We're just praying that he makes a good decision and we can find her.
I'm going to throw up some pictures here because our commenters are asking for more pictures of Cassie so that we can spread the word and show this image and get this image out to as many places as possible. You'll also see some videos sent to us by the folks that are joining us via Zoom of the search efforts that are currently underway. Let me ask you this.
I'm going to stop it here just for a second because I want to just make a mention. Rocky Pastorino is in the chat. That is our guest who we had on last night. So special hello to and thank you to Rocky for joining us here. I saw him in the chat there. I just can't find it. But we're talking about searching right now, and it brings me right to mind with EquiSearch Midwest and Rocky. There he is. So everyone say hello to Rocky Pastorino. He was instrumental in helping looking for Naomi, helping the family.
A lot of questions, of course, being asked about Sailor, the 4-year-old daughter of Cassie and Marcus. And now the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office says that Sailor is safe. But I know, Ray, you and I originally communicated over Facebook because you were saying that she's not with your family. So can you just speak for a moment to Sailor and her safety?
Right. Sailor has been located by law enforcement and is well, but she is not safe until she is back with us, the maternal side
Amen.
of her family. She lives and resides full time at my father's house with my sister. She is probably scared out of her mind, wondering where her mother is. She is not safe under his care. So we are doing everything we can with paperwork and whatnot to trying to bring Sailor back to us safely. Because until then, we cannot rest either. Until Cassie and Sailor are both back home safe with us.
I was listening very intently to the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office and their press conference yesterday, and they stated that the last person to see Cassie Carli alive is Marcus. Now, what do you believe transpired in this parking lot when they met? This is supposed to be a relatively routine custody exchange. It's one child going from one parent to the other. They're meeting at this location, which maybe you can describe it better to me. We have some images here that are showing this parking lot that they met by Juana's Pagodas right across the causeway there, and how public that was. But what happened in this meeting based on your understanding and what the community search effort has been doing their own investigating on the ground? What happened when Cassie arrives to the parking lot to pick up her daughter from Marcus? What happened there in Navarre Beach?
We still have so many questions too, honestly. The only thing we could possibly think is if he coerced her in some way using Sailor, because there's not much he could have said to convince my sister to get in the vehicle with him, to take a walk with him, any of those possibilities. Like I said, we're still unsure, but we just know that his intentions from the beginning of meeting her in that parking lot were not to gracefully hand Sailor over. Something occurred, whether she said something to upset him or he just had this planned. Honestly, he is that type of person. We have been in fear of this for a long time.
Yes.
So
I mean, we found posts of him talking about trying to figure out how to disable his OnStar in his car.
yes.
How to
That's significant right there. Talking about disabling OnStar is concerning. That means that this guy has been maybe perhaps planning this. And the conversation, I don't know if you guys are picking up on it. The conversation is they've already assumed that she's no longer with us. They're talking in past tense because they know this is not her regular routine. We spoke about this last night, the importance of law enforcement be able to, respond to families like this and many thousands and millions of others that talk about the routines of their significant other, their loved one. And then here, this is clear and evident that these folks are bracing for the worst. They're bracing for the worst. And it's horrifying to see it and to hear them talk like this.
Build a silencer. This was years ago, but I know I've never searched for anything like that. I mean, who does that? What type of person are we dealing with? Cassie would not leave her daughter. She would not leave her daughter with him if she didn't have to, if it wasn't court ordered. She would not have let him drive off with her child under any circumstances unless it was court ordered. And she should have had her daughter and been back at her father's house Sunday evening.
Yeah.
Let's light the chat up with the
Let's now
trust.
go into how Alabama is connected.
Let's light the chat up with hashtag trust the family
To all of this, because Alabama is where they found, or again, on Wednesday, going back to the timeline, is where they eventually would find Marcus and Saylor, the 4-year-old daughter, up in Birmingham, Alabama. The Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office saying that Marcus is up there at a job site on assignment, working up there. He's up there for work reasons. The Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office has said that they have communicated with Marcus. And yesterday at the press conference at the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office, they put his picture out there. They don't name him as a suspect. They don't name him even as a person of interest, but they put his picture out there. And I have it from Sergeant Eloy of the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office, who I've been in contact with, who says that they put that picture out for a very specific reason. This is the last person to see Cassie alive. What needs to be done now from your family's vantage point to track down where Cassie is located and what happened to her?
We just know we want him to be seen because we know there are also other possible individuals that have spoke with him. If you know anything, say something, please. Any tip is not too big or too small.
He works in Alabama, so we know that's where he is. And we're confident that the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Department is following the proper legal avenues to make sure that nothing is slipping through the cracks and that we're going to be able to carry this all the way to prosecution if that's where it comes to. And so we're very confident that they're doing exactly what they need to bring Cassie home to us and to make sure that they don't let whoever's responsible for this get away with this.
This story now starting to reach not just a national audience, but there's even publications around the world that are starting to pick up on Cassie Carli.
That's what we want. We want the world to be looking for Cassie. She would be here if she could be, and she would help every single one of you in this exact situation. We want the world to be talking about her, looking for her, and looking at anybody else that they think could have anything to do with this.
And that's why we've activated Share to Help on the bottom of your screen, sharing this out on Twitter, sharing this out on Facebook. Again, getting these images out there to as many phones and devices and eyeballs as possible in the hopes of finding Cassie Carli. Coming back, before we let you go, we know you have only just a couple of more minutes. I bring up the national and international media attention because of how rapidly this has been evolving over the last several days. I wanted to give your family and Cassie's friends and family, everybody, just the opportunity. Is there anything that is being reported that has been erroneous? Sometimes when you have various agencies reporting on a story and they're not located here in Florida, things can get taken out of context. What do you most want to either correct or the world to know about this story as it continues to unfold?
We're trying not to let the misinformation get out there. And I think I've seen a lot of people who take something from 3 days ago and are applying it today. This is a constantly fluid, changing situation.
This is well said by her best friend. This girl, this woman right here speaking is smart. She's talking about misinformation and how it is not helpful. So let's listen to what she said. This is pretty powerful.
That We as Cassie.
Finding we know you have only just a couple of more minutes. I bring up the national and international media attention because of how rapidly this has been evolving over the last several days. I wanted to give your family and Cassie's friends and family, everybody, just the opportunity. Is there anything that is being reported that has been erroneous? Sometimes when you have various agencies reporting on a story and they're not located here in Florida, things can get taken out of context. What do you most want to either correct or the world to know about this story as it continues to unfold?
You know, we're trying not to let the misinformation get out there. And I think I've seen a lot of people who take something from 3 days ago and are applying it today. This is a constantly fluid, changing situation that we as Cassie's friends and family are really just doing the best we can. Luckily, one of Cassie's great friends, Sam Graves, has passed law enforcement. It's amazing the village that Cassie has built, that have come together and are literally just putting all of our heads together and sharing and searching and thinking and praying that she gets to come home.
Yes. And I just want it to be known too that my sister was in the best place. She was so happy and hopeful for the future. And there is no reason to believe she would ever choose to do something like this on her own, ever. And she would never, ever leave her daughter, ever.
The only time Cassie has not had her child during her custody time, which is 85%, is when Marcus has taken her previously against the law, and we've had to get the law involved to get this baby back 2 weeks later. This has progressed. This has been escalated, and we want this to be a lesson for every future Cassie, that this needs to stop, that this is not okay.
Wow.
It's becoming all too often, and we're not having it. We're not having it.
Powerful.
Yeah, she disappears right before he's got to pay.
We will not be quiet.
Yeah.
We will not.
Right before he's got to pay.
Pay all the attorney's fees.
Like
Child support.
money too. It's just sad.
What is the plan for?
So his back was against the wall, Ed. Unbelievable. You're hearing so much valid information. This comes directly from the family. So we now know that there was attorney's fees and some type of financial that he was going to have to come up, child support and so forth and things of that nature. But this is important for everyone to hear. Clear and evident, Ed. You're getting it straight from the people who are closest. This is not rumor. This is not speculation. Again, the daughter, from what I understand, is not in his custody anymore, is in protective custody, and they're going to probably transfer within the next 24 to 48 hours back over to, hopefully, to them. What's your thoughts on what they just said here, Ed?
Well, they a lot of powerful thoughts, and the young lady is very articulate in what she was saying, and it's spot on. You know, her best friend there. You know, there's several things that just jump out at me. Is how do we know for sure he actually met her in that parking lot? So when he has his visitation, does he take his child back to Alabama for the weekend and then drive her back to Florida, or does he stay in Florida? Quite disturbing was the research done on the internet to see how to disable OnStar. Okay. And the fact that they know that because of his social media postings, he was asking for help from his in his social media on how to disable that OnStar. So there seems to be some kind of planning here. Now, did he do this himself, or did he have a friend assist him with whatever happened here? A lot of intriguing questions need to be answered.
Yeah, 100%. And we'll come to find out more about the inner workings and those details. What's important right now, and I need to pound this home to everybody, and it's not just me preaching to the masses. This is what is most important, is finding what happened to Cassie, to find Cassie Carli, to get to the bottom of it. And that's really the first and foremost. All of these other little details, law enforcement and the investigation will compile all this information and evidence. But as civilians and people who want to help, look at what Rocky said. I wish I could go there and search for her. So volunteer, volunteer, volunteer. Come out. Come into the communities. If law enforcement is working alongside this family, EquiSearch made notice. I talked to Dave Rader last night about this on text message. I spoke to Twyla. They are aware of this. Alabama is Twyla's home state. She lives in the border of Alabama and Tennessee. So they have tons of canines and tons of different resources that could be thrown at this. And as Dave always speaks, we'll throw the kitchen sink at it. So, again, what's most important is not the little itty bitty details. It's about finding out what happened to Cassie Carli. So they wanted to share this. And I think that, we're trying to help to do this, Ed, to get this message out. And I selected JB's broadcast because Nicole Schmidt, when she texted me yesterday, and actually she texted me 2 days in a row about this case, I said to her, get a hold of the daughter, give her my number, let her know that we'll get the ball rolling with EquiSearch if authorities give the blessing. They can't respond to every case, but if authorities give them the blessing, they have resources there that they can job out and get them onto the case. But again, let's not try to get into the little nitty gritty. Let's try to help support this family by sharing this valid information, not rumors and not bullcrap. That's the reason I played their interview. I played their interview because they made a very specific statement. Their statement was, we don't want misinformation out there. And here it is. You're getting it straight from us. So let me finish this up, and then we'll give our final thoughts and we'll wrap it up. But I'm going to want everyone to listen to, it's a 3 or 4 minute sheriff's conference. JB plays it right after this. So I'm going to add that.
Hey, Ron?
Yeah.
Has there been any misinformation posted?
No, but they're talking about on Facebook and in some of the groups and some of the folks talking about speculation and things of that nature. So that's really what they're saying here. And they don't want people to, I guess, put out information that will lead people in the wrong direction is kind of what I was getting from this. Let's let this play because we got limited time here.
The best avenue.
Is it the Crime Stoppers?
The
Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Department.
Still-
I think we need to go ahead and just keep giving them the
leads
direct
and tips.
information,
This is for leads.
especially if we think it's something linked directly to Marcus or Cassie right now.
with any resources is great. Once again, if you know anything in that area.
IPS, you can call the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's.
I'm going to put it back because I fast forwarded a little
It's
bit.
when Marcus has taken her previously against the law, and we've had to get the law involved to get this baby back 2 weeks later. This has progressed. This has been escalated, and we want this to be a lesson for every future Cassie, that this needs to stop, that this is not okay. It's becoming all too often, and we're not having it. We're not having it.
Yeah, she disappears right before he's got to pay.
We will not be quiet.
Yeah.
We will not.
Yeah, right before he's got to pay.
All the attorney's fees.
Like
There's child support.
money too. It's just sad.
What is the plan for today? I know that there have been routine search efforts going on all week, and some of the video that we'll play here, you'll see some of the search efforts. Before we let you go, where is the family? Where are you guys heading? And what is the plan as the search continues for Cassie Carli?
We're going to keep linking up with the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
She mentions
putting our heads
EquiSearch here.
together and searching every tip and lead that comes to us. There's nothing too small or too big that you guys can call Crime Stoppers. It's ** tips, TIPS. You can call the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Department, 911. There's nothing too small that can't be shared, because we are going to keep looking until Sailor and Cassie are home.
And is there anything, while I have you guys on the line here, is there anything that I can do? Is there anything that we here can do as far as helping spread the word? I mean, really, it comes down to, I think, the followers here and the viewers watching now, as far as spreading out this story and sharing it on social media. Is there anything that I can do, or anything that you'd like the people, the folks watching now, wherever they're watching from, to do to help out in your search efforts?
We are so grateful right now just for this coverage, but just please keep talking about it. Like JB said, like this, share this, post it, anything you see to keep Cassie's name out there. We want to be as loud as possible. We are working with all kinds of organizations, EquiSearch, all that.
There it is.
Anyone we can bring in to help with any resources is great. Once again, if you know anything in that area, reach out to us. We are open to any advice.
So there was the message, the mention of EquiSearch, and we get the ball rolling. EquiSearch is aware of this case, and if the authorities asked for their assistance, they will be there.
Any tips that can help bring her home.
And where should they go if they have information they want to reach out to you? What's the best avenue?
Is it the Crime Stoppers?
The crimes.
Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Department. I think we need to go ahead and just keep giving them the direct information, especially if we think it's something linked directly to Marcus or Cassie right now.
Yes.
Crime Stoppers, if you can't get through to them, ** TIPS is a number you can text. It's anonymous. They're offering a reward.
We will have some sites up later today posted. I will make sure I give those to you as well. If anyone wants to donate to the volunteers and the search efforts and whatnot, we will be organizing all of that too today.
We're working on legal fees for Cassie.
And helping bring Sailor
We're
home.
not going to let anything financial slow this down, though.
No.
Well, we can't thank you enough for taking time out of your day to join us. And I think I speak for all of our commenters, and I'm looking at the YouTube comment section and the amount of heart emojis and prayer emojis that I'm seeing, Facebook Live as well. I think I speak for thousands.
Let's light it up, folks. Anybody see the pressure and stress on the brother and sister? She just took a deep breath. I'm paying close attention to her, and you could see the anguish and the stress that she's going through right now. Her sister is unaccounted for.
Watching right now.
Yeah, Ed.
That's one thing about body language. You know, you can't hide being under stress and discomfort. You really can't hide it, and it's there, and it's genuine. It's not like some other cases that we know where somebody comes out, some husband and wife comes out and does a press conference, and you can tell they're full of shit.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, let's let the rest of this play, because then the sheriff comes on and then we'll wrap it up, Ed. Here we go.
That are wishing you the very best and are rallying behind finding Cassie and finding her as soon as humanly possible. So thank you to all four of you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, JB.
Thank you, JB. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care, everybody. All right. Back with you here live on WFLA now as they kind of hop off the Zoom call. We are going to do our very best. What we do here interactively on WFLA comment. If you don't want your name and your picture, when you see this type of image, you're looking at the announcement of an arrest. I'm going to do a little bit of editing on the fly. And is not publicly suspected of a crime. This isn't, as we understand it right now, this is just the father, and we can just say this is the father of Sailor, Cassie's 4-year-old daughter, who, again, Cassie, on the way to pick up her daughter on Sunday night, did make it there to the location at Navarre Beach. Where
all right, here we go. This is going to take a little bit.
By the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
All right, before we show this, Ed, let's just get quickly to the chat. I want to say thank you to the new channel members. Susan Brubaker, thank you for becoming a new member. There was one other one that I might have missed. I want to say thank you to everyone who has given Super Chat during the course of this live stream. We're trying to bring you the most valid information, up to date and current. Ed Wallace and I are going to follow this case closely. Ed, I know, is behind the scenes doing his investigation. And when Ed starts investigating you better watch out, because he's on the case and he knows how to dot his I's and cross his T's. There's a ton of forensics probably behind this case. Ed, do you want to talk a little bit about her vehicle, the contents therein, and his vehicle, how important that is?
Oh, absolutely. Especially, if, again, we've talked about this in other cases, the trace transfer evidence, interactions between the ex-husband and Casey and the daughter and so forth, transferring from vehicle to vehicle. There's going to be some transfer of evidence along in both vehicles. There are going to be fingerprints, DNA, hairs and fibers, transfers. There's a whole slew of forensic evidence. again, also there's going to be electronic evidence and the cell phones and video cameras, traffic cameras. You know the route he likes to drive to and from Florida because he lives in Alabama. That whole route has to be searched. Okay, you have to try to track his vehicle movements from that day, and along the route that he would have taken to go back to Alabama with his child. And there's all kinds of cameras. There may be some toll plazas. There are things that can be done. There are gas stations. And try to track those movements. And there's enough secluded areas along these highways in this particular area, from the Panhandle of Florida, the Mississippi, Alabama area, to this, unfortunately, do something nefarious. And it's been our experience, and I know you can back me up on this, Ron, that 9 out of 10 cases, it's, in these types of relationships, it's always the husband, the boyfriend, or the ex that does the dirty deed.
And 100%, Ed, and especially in situations where their back's against the wall. He was standing financially bound to, come forward with an obligation of a child that he created with his significant other at the time. And Sailor, the 4-year-old, she has got to be traumatized by this whole, and her sister said it really well. She said she's probably freaking out and asking, where's mommy? And this is a little baby. These are young little babies. And again, I'm thankful that she's accounted for and safe at this point. This family is traumatized to the maximum. But I definitely want to let everyone hear from the sheriff before we wrap. So let's listen to the sheriff's press. It was recorded from previous, but this is most current of what we have, and this was played just yesterday. So let's hear what he has to say. This is, again, trust what law enforcement and the family puts out. Do not trust the fake book, YouTube, Twitter, toxic streets. You guys know where those streets are. Those signs are clearly posted. Don't enter. Just do your best not to enter. And Ed and I both concur wholeheartedly with that.
Everybody, thanks for coming. We're going to talk about a missing persons case today. A Navarre woman, Cassie Carli, 37 years of age, was last seen Sunday the 27th behind Juana's Pagoda in the parking lot. She was there to meet Marcus Spanavello, who I think who also has his photograph as well. They have a child in common, a 3-year-old girl. They were met there to do a child exchange. That was the last time that we know of that Cassie was seen. The next day, Monday the 28th, about midday, we received a call from Cassie's father reporting her missing. The next day, Tuesday the 29th, we find Cassie's car behind Juana's Pagoda. And what we found concerning was inside that car was Cassie's purse. And as you know, most women don't leave their purse behind when they go somewhere. So that caused us a little concern. Then Wednesday the 30th, we located Marcus in Birmingham, Alabama. 3 detectives from Santa Rosa County drove up there to interview him. They made contact with him and also with Sailor, the daughter, and they called out Alabama Child Services, who checked over the girl, and that was that for that part. So they interviewed him and came back here. Right now, we're currently in several different, I guess you could say, phases of this investigation, but we would like to thank Okaloosa, Walton, and Bay SO for their assistance, as well as FDLE and the FBI. Currently, like I said, it's an ongoing investigations. I don't know how many questions I can answer, but feel free to ask me what you want to. So, yes, ma'am.
Are there any specific spots that you are searching right now, or any specific efforts that you can share with us?
Not at this time. I can say the search is ongoing, but I can't tell you any certain locations.
Can you confirm whether the search is beyond Santa Rosa County?
Yes. Yes.
Can you give us any information about why some of the people involved in the search went to Freeport yesterday?
I don't know the answer to that one.
Okay.
I mean, we didn't send them there.
No, it was the community-led search.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Yes, ma'am.
We've talked to friends and family who all point their fingers toward Marcus when it comes to information that could lead to finding Cassie, and they believe he may know something about her disappearance. Do you feel like that's a fair statement?
Well, I can say it's an ongoing investigation, and he was the last one to see her that we're aware of. So obviously, we are intent on speaking with him again. Yes.
Have any restrictions been put on him about leaving where he's at or the country?
Not by us. No. Yes.
Can you give us any sort of insight into what his story of events were when you interviewed him?
No, I can't.
Is there anything beyond just the purse being with the vehicle that leads you to believe that she didn't just walk off on her own? Not that I can speak to right now. But like I said, obviously, I've been married 32 years, and I'll tell you, my wife goes nowhere without her purse. So to think that she just left it there and just walked off is, that's what concerns us. Did you interview the child, or was there anything from the story about the drop off from the child?
No, we did not interview the child. Now, like I said, Alabama Protective Services responded out, and I can't really comment on what they said. Yes.
What was his connection to Birmingham? Was he in the process of leaving, or does he live there, or what?
No, I think he had a job site up there that he works at.
When you say her purse, is that all of her, she left her ID, all that stuff was still in the car, or just a purse?
There were things in the purse we won't comment on, but there's things in the purse that, like I said before, we don't think she would just up and leave.
She was last seen almost 4 days now. Can you speak to whether that's concerning to keep going yet another day with no sign of her?
Oh yeah, it's very concerning. I mean, and we take everything seriously. Missing persons cases, a lot of them, we find the person, everything's fine. But usually you don't go 4 days without hearing from them or them using a credit card or a cell phone or something. And right as of now, we have none of that. So yeah, we're concerned.
So you can confirm that she's had no cell phone or credit card activities since Sunday?
That we're aware of.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's why we have, we didn't just assign a detective. Our entire major crimes unit is working this. So you've got 10 detectives that's pretty much all they're doing right now is trying to locate Cassie.
At any point, do you plan to identify a person of interest in her disappearance if this continues?
Well, yeah, definitely. If we develop a lead or we develop information that points to a person solid, yeah, we'll have another press conference without a doubt. Yes.
How many witnesses have you guys interviewed approximately?
Ballpark.
There's really not a whole lot of first eyewitnesses.
So I would say 5 or 6 right now, because when you start talking about witnesses, they meet by themselves together in this parking lot to do a child exchange. I mean,
Is it typical to get major crimes in on the first couple days of a missing person case?
It is when certain things pop up, like you find her purse in the car. I mean, that worries us. So yeah. Yes.
Have you all had any luck with surveillance video or anything in that area? I know it's out on the beach.
Yeah, we have. We've seen a bunch of video. The problem we have with some of it is, it's getting dark and that kind of thing. So we're still examining video. So yes.
You said that you're concerned and worried. Can you speak to, are you specifically concerned that it's possible kidnapping or any other crime? I mean, her life could be in danger.
Well, when we look at this, we consider her missing, endangered. In other words, we don't know what happened to her. We don't have any evidence specifically pointing to a homicide or abduction or any of those. We just know that the way she has gone missing concerns us greatly.
And you said that, responding to another question, that the search has gone outside of Santa Rosa County. Can you say that it has gone outside of the state? Have you contacted other agencies?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you believe Cassie's alive?
I'm not really going to comment on what I believe. It doesn't really matter what I believe. I mean, evidence is what we go on. And right now we don't have enough evidence to determine if she's alive or if she's deceased. We don't have that kind of evidence right now.
Did you call the FBI to get involved, or did they volunteer? How did that?
They volunteered.
And where do you go from here?
They'll be examining evidence for us, certain types of evidence that we don't have the capability of looking into. They'll take that. FDLE, same way. They have certain software programs and things we don't have that they do, and hopefully they can help us. Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever, were you ever able to determine if there was any problems with Cassie's car that you guys have?
We're not going to comment on that, but Yeah, we do have the car in custody, so yes. Anything else? Okay, thank you very much.
All right, we're going to stop it there. A lot of information from that presser. They have the car in custody. Ed, any thoughts? Any highlights?
Yeah, great press conference. Good information. So based upon what I heard, they're processing or trying to enhance video and maybe photographic evidence. They have her vehicle. Now, what thing that strikes me about the purse? I mean, think about this, folks. You're there in this parking lot behind this restaurant to get your daughter back from a visitation with her father. Okay. The father pulls into the parking lot. You get out of your vehicle. You leave your purse behind because all you think you're going to do is go grab your daughter, put your daughter in your car and drive off. And then she gets abducted by the father. And that scenario seems to be very plausible.
Yeah.
And that's why she left the pocketbook in the back of the in the vehicle, rather.
Yeah, great point you bring out there, Ed. And some of my notes that I took from this is he has all his entire major case detective squad on this.
Mm-hmm.
He's also talked that he has 5 or 6 witnesses in the back of that parking lot,
Right.
at the Iguana or whatever that restaurant was called. Alabama Child Welfare is involved. He would not comment on it because it's not his agency. There is video evidence that they are enhancing, as you just said. So these are 3 key sticking points from that press conference. And they asked him, what were your thoughts? Chief, do you think that that she's dead? And he said, it really doesn't matter what I think. And that goes to all of us as well.
Right.
We can all think and have our own opinions. Opinions are like balls. Everyone's got one. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you think. It matters what he just said is the evidence that's presented before us. And right now, they don't have her. They don't have any evidence that shows that she's deceased. So right now, they're taking it as a missing persons case until that evidence presents themselves. And that's how it goes in Law Enforcement 101, ladies and gentlemen. As much as you might not like that, we're going to tell it to you the way it is. We're not going to sugarcoat it, and we're not going to say, oh, if you ask Ed and I, is this going to lead to a happy ending? We would probably say the odds would say no.
No.
And that's a professional, clear, and concise statement. The
statistics speak louder than words here. It proves this out time and time again that the odds are not in favor of a good outcome. Yeah. And that, unfortunately, that's just the cold hard truth about these things. And it's sad. And, I feel the pain of the family, and we can't have this, we can't have this. What's disturbing to me is that there was a previous incident with the child in custody that they had to get law enforcement involved in to get the child back. At that point, why wasn't his visitation rights taken away from him?
Right. Yeah. And my question too, as a regular person, not as a detective, is like, why would she have gone there solo if there was this volatile past with this guy? So a lot of it doesn't add up. Like, and maybe he lured her in there with some kind of promise for money or promise of something that she didn't want to reveal to everybody. A lot of times these relationships, people aren't proud of the bad things that go on, and they don't want to broadcast it to their whole family. So maybe he sweet talked her some way and said, hey, come, I got $1,000 for you. And I'm just saying, it could have been there was a case on Staten Island, Ed, where the 2 people took that woman from Queens. They lured her in, a school teacher, and they
ex-husband.
Yeah,
girlfriend. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I covered that case here, and they found her in a storage container, burned. They took her body and transported her in a van with her own children, deceased. And
drove her to Staten Island from Queens and put her in a storage locker not too far from my home.
Right. And what did he do? He dangled the carrot over her head because she hadn't seen her child in, I think, 2 years. And he said, we're going to play nice. We're going to let you come and visit. And she didn't tell anybody. She just went there, and she was ambushed on video, by the way.
Right. Yeah.
Janine Camerata, the name just came to my head. That is that is the victim in this case. And her significant other was sentenced to life in prison just recently, within the last 6 months, in Staten Island, in your hometown. So again, let's share and like these videos. Everyone, if you could, Ed and I are asking you please to give this video a thumbs up, share it onto your social media platforms. Cassie Carli is still considered a 37-year-old mother missing from Navarro Beach, Florida, and in that general vicinity. Authorities are working this case in multi-states, Alabama and Birmingham, and we're going to see this case unfold as it goes forward.
Yes. And the good thing about this case, I got to say, is that unlike so many other missing persons cases where the report of the missing was delayed or pushed off by law enforcement for whatever reason, it wasn't in this case. As soon as the father, the day after the father didn't see it, reports it, boom, and they're on the case immediately. With these things, time is of the essence. The faster law enforcement gets involved, the faster we can get a good outcome. And at least in this case, we got the child. Now we just got to find the mother.
Right. Polar opposite of what we saw in the Naomi case. 3 days lag. Casey, her brother, had to go to Walmart and pull the videotapes himself. Just a lot of complete extreme contrasts here. So heads up to the sheriff's department down there in Florida. They did a great job of jumping on it and taking the bull by the horns and running with it. I hope that we will hear more coming up. And let's go over to the chat, Ed, because these are our most loyal and faithful people here. Nat Estelle, it says, I'm informed by my brother who lives in Birmingham, so she's local. Anybody that has information from Birmingham that's valid, send it to me on DutyRon.com. Not if it's a tip. If it's a tip, go to the police with it, and there's that tip line. I am going to link it. Me and Ed are going to link it down below in the description. Any tips or information, police, not social media. Put it out to the police first and foremost, and then just you've done your job as a good human being, and that's how it goes. Don't take this information that you might have and splatter it all over social media so people can dilute it and twist it and turn it around. You want to get your message straight to the authorities. That's how you can help, and that's my tip along with Ed Wallace to the great civilians that help in many of these cases. Ed, how many times do we hear cases getting solved by crowdsourcing and social media?
Absolutely. We don't say see something, say something for nothing. The civilians are out there, and there are our force multiplier. There are eyes and ears. Law enforcement can't be solved by law enforcement issues, rather crimes cannot be solved by law enforcement alone. It's a collaborative effort between us and the civilians. Okay, we work together to make our communities safer.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
We need that synergy.
Yeah, 100%. Without our civilian help and our counterparts with different agencies working together, we all need to work together, and for the good of humanity, and for the victims and their families. This is how it gets done. So I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Ed and I will be going to the Gabby Petito Foundation along with my brother, retired lieutenant, and Joey Brooklyn. We're all going to meet up at the Gabby Petito Foundation at 1 o'clock tomorrow out in Long Island. I'm going to bring my gear with me, and if we can fire up a live stream, you'll see me, Ed Wallace, and Joey Brooklyn all together, supporting a foundation that is helping fund searches for the missing, helping to fund domestic violence programs, and doing good things. And that is something that is very unique. Lots of time crime victims, they'll get their case, and justice will either be served or not served, and then you won't hear from them again. I think that the folks that have the strength to go forward, like the Petitos and Schmitz and many, many others that are out there, you got your Rocky Pastorinos and lots of other people who speak out for victims. You heard Cassie Carli's sister, the young blonde girl, said, we want to make sure that there's no more Cassies in the future. So that that to me is admirable for her to say that while her sister is unaccounted for. So, any final words, Ed?
Yeah, that is always the goal, but I realistically, I don't think it's achievable. Okay, we can reduce it as much as possible, but there are always going to be cases like this. It's just the nature of humans. Okay, it's saddening. It's saddening, and it's frustrating for us both as a human being and in law enforcement that these things are going to occur from time to time because of as I said, the nature of human beings. We're not puppet masters. We can't control everybody's actions, and everybody has free will. Some people abuse it.
Yeah.
But I do want to thank everybody for their congratulating my son on his promotion and everything. I appreciate that. It was a great day yesterday. Some good news, juxtaposed to this bad stuff we're dealing with. But yes, he got his promotion yesterday, and it was a proud family, my proud family. And it was also very proud that he, since we're a legacy family, I'm fourth generation NYPD, he's fourth generation, that I was able to, he's able to now wear my former detective shield.
Wow. So he's carrying your former badge number. And did you carry that badge number from a previous family member, Ed?
No. I have my first detective shield. It wasn't anybody else's in my family. And I held it for 16 years, and now he's got it, and he's going to take the ball and run with it. And my nephew, who's a major case detective, speaking of major case, he would be involved in stuff like this here in New York, abductions, kidnappings. That's what a lot of major case does. He was lucky enough when he got promoted detective to get my late brother's detective shield. So we're keeping our shields. In New York, folks, we call what you normally call a badge, we call shields. Okay. Yes. And so we managed to keep at least two of the badges in the family. I tried to get my grandfather's police officer shield when I first came on the job, but that shield had been discontinued, and that was from 1920. So his shield wouldn't necessarily be the same as what we currently wear.
Wow, what a long, rich history in the Wallace family, fourth generation, and all the way back to his grandfather. That's impressive. And we also always have to remember Ed's brother. We lost him to cancer, and just a sad situation. We need to highlight that one day whenever you're ready, Ed. We keep talking about it, but we never pulled the trigger on it. But so we definitely got to do it. So may he continue to rest in peace. Congratulations on a proud day. We spoke yesterday, and I heard it in your voice, Ed. You were just so on that high, riding on that high, and it's great. It's such an accomplishment. And tell your son I said to stay safe out there, please.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow, Ed. So as I like to always end these, thank you to the replay viewers. Thank you to all the chatters, the super chatters. Melissa just sent in a $20 super sticker. Melissa Hollins just sent in the sticker, and thank you for that support. Diane B, Alicia B, Dawn Marie, Nancy Eileen, Lieutenant Pete Pranzo, Jolene, and everyone who hangs out in here. Black Rose 11 is here. Kathy, appreciate you. And everybody, thank you so much for joining. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all one word, DutyRon. And we are also on TikTok against Ed's best wishes. We're on TikTok, so there's no getting around it. We upload some of our highlight clips there, and it's another platform to share. It's about getting out to the reach. I didn't choose TikTok because I like it. I chose it because it's a platform that you can reach a lot of people.
Well, at least we're not dancing and singing on it.
No pole dancing, no singing, nothing like that. Nothing like that. Barb Olson, thank you for joining from Canada. There's the Black Rose 11. There's Trio Mom. Just love to highlight you guys and say thank you, because it's right to give thanks and praise to the people who support you. And you guys are the ones that support me and Ed and all of these families and the victims that we speak about. So thank you so much. Gerda Coates is all the way from South Africa checking in. And she says, I love DutyRon. And I know she means Ed as well. What an amazing space to be. Thank you for that. That's a really kind message, and I appreciate things like that. Carol loving Alaska. She loves Alaska, but guess what? She loves DutyRon and Ed Wallace. I know that. That's for sure. Ed, I have a whole package of cards and gifts to give to you tomorrow. It's going to be,
Okay.
I hope you have room in your car, like a milk crate or something like that.
I'll bring my truck.
There you go. Bring a backhoe. All right, guys. Love and respect from DutyRon and Ed Wallace. Let's keep sharing Cassie Carli's story. She's still out there. She needs us now more than ever. And like I like to end these all, God bless the world. God bless the United States of America and each and every one of us here in the chat, but especially the victims and their families. They need us now more than ever. Let's give thanks and praise to law enforcement and everybody that's boots on the ground, searching for Cassie Carli. Okay, guys, I'll talk to you soon. On behalf of Ed Wallace and DutyRon, peace from New York.
Stay safe, folks.
Thank you. Thanks, Ed.